Hello, Cancer. Thank you very much for tuning into this week's read. For the main part of the read, I'm using the Light Seers Tarot by Chris Ann, Supportive Oracle Cards, Energy Oracle Cards by Sandra Ann Taylor, I want to say. Yep, Sandra Ann Taylor. I think these work well together, too. I was looking at them and I was like, I keep using the same decks. Let me try one of them different. I really like the Light Seers Tarot. I really, really like it. I use it a lot, actually. What do we have for Cancer? I feel like something's happening here. We got like this dip going on. It's almost like you got to put the energy out there and then see what happens with it. That's kind of what I'm seeing. Because it's kind of like, I feel like you're going to have to hand something over and just hope for the best is what I'm guessing. Let's see. Let's get a little deeper into it, right? The moon with patience. Now, the moon is very interesting. In astrology, the moon is Cancer, right? In the tarot, it's Pisces. Either way, this is a water card. This is very compatible with how you're feeling. What's really going on here? Is it really moving forward? Is this really good energy? Having patience, trying to figure it out. Whatever you're dealing with, it's kind of like I'm hoping for the best, but I'm definitely fearing the worst here. It's kind of like you have somebody who like maybe makes unscrupulous choices, and you're like, maybe they're not going to do that this time, but they probably will. It's kind of like one of those things. It's almost like, you know, if you have somebody who has an addiction, it's kind of like maybe they're doing better, but I don't want to bank on it. Maybe they're not going to gamble the rent money away, but I should probably plan in case they do. You know what I mean? Maybe Uncle Joe has got his alcoholism under control, but maybe I should try to make this a dry event anyway, just so that it's not an issue. That's the energy I feel like you're going with. Like, oh, I'm hoping it's good, but maybe I should just put in some insurance on this situation. The patience coming in is kind of like it's going to be a while before it comes forward, but I also feel like some of these things are like, well, there's only so much I can do. It's not just dependent on me. I have to get support from other people if I want to try to safeguard this stuff, and still it may not matter. And it's kind of like I'm going towards it very slowly, very carefully. It's definitely a very heartfelt concern for you. Like, this is a big deal. I want to do what's right. I'm not looking to make things worse, but I don't want to be a fool. So it's very like, I don't know, to trepidation, I keep thinking, but tread very carefully. It's because you care. That's why. Now you got another card, this water card, Knight of Cups. I feel like you're enlisting the help of others. This is what I'm dealing with. Now, of course, you're Cancer. It's not just anybody you're asking here. So whoever you're pulling in, these are of significant value. For like when I feel Cancer, it's either somebody in your life that you already value, or it's like somebody like you trust their professional opinion and you know that there's going to be some, you know, respect in like that information you ask them or whatever they tell you, they're going to keep it to themselves and they're just going to tell you what they think or give you ideas, but you know it's respectable. So typically Cancer likes to know people or trust people and feel good with people before they ask them personal questions. But in this case, I do feel some of you are asking professionals, but these are people that you're like, I respect their decision. I don't know them that well, but I do know that they will uphold the privacy of the question and they will keep it to themselves. So since they will keep it to themselves and I trust that, I will ask my question to see what they can tell me. Especially if it's like an addiction thing and you're like, I know of a psychiatrist or a person that deals with that, and I can ask them a professional question and like, can you answer this professionally? Just tell me what if I tell you what I'm dealing with, what you would suggest might make this go better. You would do that because it's for the betterment of the whole group and your heart goes out to the group. You're kind of like, I'll suck it up and ask the question if it'll make things better. That does very much feel like a Cancer thing to me. Kind of like, I'll suck it up and ask the question. I'll get through it. If it's better for everybody else, I'll do it because that's what means the most to you. So you got this, is that Happy Family? Happy Family with the Knight of Cups. This is talking to me about your motivation. This doesn't mean everything's going easy. It just means that like you're putting out the best energy you can, doing the best you can to make this go forward. And I feel like this is a very important part of this reading, it's kind of like you're on point, you're in your energy, you're in that moment, you're doing the selfless thing. It's the best for the group. I keep feeling that. For those of you this is going to hit with, it's like the selfless thing. This is best for everybody. So again, it may be embarrassing for me to ask this question, but I'll do it because it'll help everybody else. I will do it. For the betterment of all that you care about, you'll do it. It's kind of like when you have that kid who's like, has a bad habit, whatever it is, and it's an embarrassing habit for you, but you're like, if I need help with this, I will go forward and do it, and I will talk about this with the right people. I don't care if they look at me like I'm a weirdo, as long as they don't look at my child as a weirdo. That's unacceptable. But I'll get the help for it that I need to do. It's a Cancer thing. They'll do that. For somebody they love, they will put themselves out there like that. Keep going. Okay. 3 of Wands with, what was this other card? The Thinking Man. It's interesting with the 3 of Wands because that 3rd wand is kind of hidden down here a little bit. And when I see this person and this lady, it looks like a lady to me, she's kind of like, before I step out onto the water, she's like evaluating, am I at the dawn or dusk? Is this going to work? Do I like what I'm seeing? Is this worth the trip, or should I go somewhere else? She's going somewhere, but she's evaluating really quickly. Where I'm going, is that making sense? The Thinking Man is probably why I'm getting that energy really very heavily, because I feel like also, because it doesn't matter what gender this person is, it's just kind of coming forward, like we need to make changes, we need to make moves, we don't have time to sit here and daily about it, especially with the 3 of Wands. Like, it's kind of like, before I step off the bus, and the bus is coming up to its stop, is this where I want to be? Because if it is, I need to get off now. If it's not, I need to wait until the next stop, but I can't come back. If I miss the stop, I don't have time to sit here and just mull it over. The bus is slowing up to make the stop. I either get off or I don't. What am I going to do? And I got to think really quick, and I got to do my best to make things work out. I want to say Leo so bad, so I just did. Which is the sign right after Cancer, so for whatever significance that has for you. Strength is definitely a thing here. Somebody is helping you. And whoever you're confiding in or asking questions, even if it's somebody you don't know, if it's in that professional realm, like we said before, like, I need to ask this question, I trust their professionalism, whatever. They are like taking you extremely seriously, whoever it is. And they're like, when I say extremely seriously, like, they feel like whatever they say to you is going to have an impact, and they got to try to make this the best for you they can. So they're like really racking their brain, really like, how do I help the Cancer and really make it a lasting improvement? They're looking at this like, we don't want this to just go well in this one situation. We want you to have a lasting improvement, something you can build from. And I feel like they're telling you that. They're kind of like, well, if you just want this one situation to go well, you could do that. But if you want it to go better from here and keep getting better from here and keep improving from here, this is what I think you should do, and here's why. Also, here are some of the pitfalls you may come across. But again, this is for improvement now, continuing success later. And I feel like they're very on point about explaining that, kind of like, you may have an easier time doing that, but that's a one-off, and you're going back to square one after you go past it. But if you want, like, if you're dealing with an alcoholic or something like that, or like somebody who's gambling away money, you can have the money set aside and take care of it yourself, or you can have a dry event to where there's no alcohol anyway, and they're like, well, that'll suffice that one moment. But if you want to make an improvement with this person and continue getting better, I feel like you should have somebody help them, or try to keep them segregated to an area like where that's not so prevalent, to where they don't have to deal with it as much, and just acknowledge that that's a problem, and you're there to support them and help them not have to deal with it. Something like that. They're setting you up for long-term success. They're trying to, because they're looking at this like a momentary advantage is not really helping you, and that's how they're looking at it. Just helping you get through this one event is not really helping you, and I feel like that's not what you're interested in. You want it to get better and to continue, like, improvement that's going to continue to success. That's what you're looking for. And they're trying to look at this as honestly as possible. With the magician in the mirror, I feel like they're saying, here's what could happen. Here's some of the outcomes you could end up facing. It may be kind of rough, but in the long term, you may make out from it. Like they're saying, just because you're doing the right thing doesn't mean it couldn't go a little left. Like you can try your best, but there's no guarantees here. And they're being very honest with you. They're just being very honest. They want to set you up to be ready, and so that you can actually achieve what you're trying to achieve. They're trying to give you the best foot forward. I feel like they're also honest with you, kind of like, your intention is great for you. But this other person, there's no guarantee they're going to buy into this better way of doing things. And they're just trying to be honest with you. Like, you can't force anything to happen here. It's kind of like dealing with a puppy. You can try to keep them from chewing on things and try everything you can, but when you pet them, they might chew on your finger anyway. You know what I mean? You can only do so much, and it's based on what's happening here. They're also, I feel like they're also telling you, this is how it's coming through, but it sounds interesting to me. All right, here's how we go. Through dramatic failures, you can get the greatest success. Okay, let's see where we're going with that. Dramatic failures. This could fall flat on its face. There is a version of this. They're like, well, we could do it this way, but you run the risk of dramatic failure, like really rock bottom face plant on the cement floor. But from that moment, you may get the greatest victory afterwards. Sometimes it has to get really, really bad before it gets good. So in other words, somebody gambling away the rent money and saying, well, if you can't pay rent, you can't live here. Sounds rough, but still. Another way to deal with it is kind of like the alcoholic thing. Kind of like, you can't drink if you come here. If you drink, you have to leave, and we're not going to invite you anymore to events. You're no longer going to be invited because we're not going to even chance it. That's a very harsh way to deal with it, very dramatic, but sometimes you can get the greatest success from that because you show that, like, this isn't just a little thing. We're not playing kid gloves anymore. This is really difficult. And I feel like this kind of nips the situation right at the base, kind of like, it kind of gets very primal is how it feels to me with that Six of Cups. Six of Cups talks about history, but it also, to me, feels very primal right now, like going back to the root of a problem, kind of like, you want to be a part of this group? Well, you're going to have to shape up. It's very dramatic. This seems to be an option they're giving you. You have to decide what's right. I feel like that's really harsh. When I'm feeling your energy come into that, I feel like that really doesn't... It makes me uncomfortable. I feel like it makes me uncomfortable. You might want to talk about this with other people and see what they think, but I feel like even that might be hard for you. Kind of like, I don't know if I want that to be an option. I feel like what this is coming forward is somebody's giving you two options. You might end up using both. Because the World card is coming in. The easier option might work. But if the easier option doesn't work, you might have to fall back on the more difficult one that's harder to look at. That's why I'm thinking you might want to talk about that. If you can, I still feel like that's hard for you. That seems very, ultimate. Like, that seems very, like, ultimatum type feel, which is difficult. Sometimes it's warranted, unfortunately, depending on how toxic a situation is getting. As we go through to the end, there's a change coming. The world's telling me, whether it's the easier way or the hard way, it's coming where the situation is going to be, it's going to be unacceptable, and it has to change. The situation has to change. We're coming towards that. You're going to have to make tough decisions, but I feel like the information somebody else has given you has set you up to make those actions move forward. I really feel like you want to talk about the harder option with people, because I feel like if you're pushed into the corner and that's the only other option you have, you will do it. You won't like it, but you're like, if I'm pushed into the corner and I have to fight, then I have to fight, and that's what I have to do. Again, Cancer, they will fight. They will fight, especially for those they love. And if they think this is what I have to do for the betterment of the group, you will do it. I know that sounds really harsh and crazy, but if you were backed right into the corner and like, I have to stop this person before they hurt everybody else, you will do it. You will do it. I'm getting that. It's like, I feel like I'm seeing some weird scenes, like, if somebody's threatening violence with whatever means, and before they hurt 5 other people you love, you have the ability to shut them down. I don't feel like that's even a question. You will shut them down. Even if you care about them, if I have to take down this one to save those other 5, I will do it. And I feel like that's the energy. Because I don't see you liking it. That 4 of Cups is telling me you're not liking where this is going. It may come down to that. I don't understand the intensity. I think it's subjective to your situation. This situation is hard. You're doing your best. You are doing your best with it. I feel like it's going to be hard either way. It's kind of like, it's just rough to deal with and you don't like dealing with it, but it has to be dealt with. Somebody might be going to rehab at the end of this too. I'm getting that journey. However this is turning out, I feel like it's bothering you, kind of like, I don't even know if that's going to work. But you are doing your best. And I feel like that's what this whole reading is about. Like, you are doing the best you can with this situation. There's no, I don't know, I feel bad about it. I'd like there to be a better way to handle it, but they're saying this is good. You're doing really well with it. This is what needs to happen for this situation. And you're here because you can do it and you will do it because you have the ability to do it. So it's part of your growth. The more I look, they're like, I don't know what you're looking for. I feel like there's somebody's like waiting right next to me going, I don't know what you're looking for, but that's the message, so let it be. So I'm going to let it be. All right, so thank you for watching. I hope that helps. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James 4, astral@gmail.com. Thank you.